there's always this tendency to gravitate back towards the mentality of tribalism, and that's just human nature. Is just like my camp versus your camp. So we're in a very unique position in the fact that not only are we have experienced both sides in terms of both sides being like the United States and China for like a long time, but we're experiencing both sides in this very particular window of time.
Yeah,
that's
true.
Where just a fewer decades ago, it would be completely different, right?
True.
So in this particular window of time right now, which is just a small window really in the grand scheme of things, we are here having been raised in the West in the United States. So we have a very unique outlook in the fact that like we can really kind of objectively try to look at both sides, but that's not most people. Most people do not have that privilege, I guess. And so just take us for example. If we have never moved out here to China and we stayed in the United States all our lives, right? We would have probably a very different outlook and opinion
100%
than we do now. Or if we were Chinese and we never had any experience in the States and we just grew up in China our whole lives, we would have a very different outlook than we have 100%. Now. So that is the reality of the world. That is the reality of the majority of people. And for us, we get to have this kind of very unique position where we get to see both sides. And I think that's where a lot of our values comes from in terms of like us being to weigh both cultures and see the good and bad of both cultures and try to like honestly try to like look at things objectively and try to learn from these things. But at the same time, like personally, for me, it's very frustrating because it's very frustrating knowing that I'm the minority here. Not here in China, but the minority in terms of like my perspective. Because every time what happens when you turn on the news, you turn on the media, you look at...
On both sides.
Yeah, on both sides.
Yeah.
China and United States and worldwide, everywhere, right? Yeah. No one is innocent of this. No country is innocent of this. Everyone is guilty. But like every time you look at social media, you look on Facebook, you look on Twitter, or you turn on the news, like it's all this like tribalism. It's all these opinions and they're disguised, but at the end of the day, it's all tribalism. It's all my side versus your side. It's all my bubble like perspective and not taking account into like any other kind of like culture or understanding. Yeah. It's a very one-sided. Everything is biased, right? No matter where you're from, you only know your own little bubble and you form all your opinions about the outside world on that bubble of understanding. So, and I'm not trying to say like, oh, I'm more enlightened or cultured or educated. I'm not. I'm dumb as it can be, okay? I'm as ignorant as anybody. But just from the mere fact of my situation, I get to at least step in two bubbles at the same time. So when I see a lot of the tension between especially the United States and China and things like that, it's very frustrating because I see both sides and both sides are like really just ignorant sometimes, you know? And it's so frustrating because then you start losing faith in like people's like in the media really.
Well, that's funny you say that because I don't know about you, but I mean, I've lost faith in media. I mean, that's a far gone thought.
100%.
You know what I mean? Because it really is. And that affects me to feel like, how do I feel about human beings in general? And I think that goes back to what you're saying. It's like, you only know as much as your environment, right? And what you've been told, right? Whether societal, media, whatever. And if you cannot look beyond that, you can't look past that, well then, you're kind of trapped, right? You're kind of trapped in this like very singular tunnel vision way of thinking. And I don't think that's a very nice way to live.
Yeah.
I mean,